Let's talk a little bit about Maximum FM.
Yes.
How did that come about from a young radio station to some more seasoned vets? How did that come about?
Well, Mike Boogie actually hit me up. He came out to Big Ticket one day and he's like, yo, man, he goes, I'm starting this radio station, you know. I'm going to go to school and learn how to do radio, which he never did. So I taught him everything he needed to know.
He went to school.
He went to the Got Rock school of how to do shit. Right? But he's like, yo, me and my brother, we want to start this radio station and like support Canadian talent because there's nothing out there doing that.
For sure.
Which is true. We don't have the commercial radio supporting it. And there's no real like... Sure, there's little online stations here and there.
Yeah,
or there might be a show that somebody can stream for an hour. But, you know, we're looking at the big picture, and he was looking at the big picture. So he talked to me about it, and, you know, we had a meeting, and I went to meet with his brother and everything, and I saw how serious they were. So I was just like, yeah, definitely, you know, I'll help you guys out.
Yeah.
You know, whether it's share my knowledge or connections or, you know, make use of my marketing or whatever it is, right? So, you know, so we had quite a bit of talks, and they were serious, and, you know, they launched the station, and...
How long has it been popping off?
August was the launch. We still haven't really had our official launch because that was the plan, to just start in August, start playing music, start implementing shows, right, and then have an official launch party for the station, right. So we really haven't had an official launch party yet.
Yeah.
But since August, you know, we've added a lot of shows, which includes Breaking Records Radio, right. So you can find it there. We got DJs who submit mixes, so we played mixes 3 times a day. And then we just got random music mixes.
Is that what like Law was the one day then?
Yeah, it was a DJ Law mix, right? DJ Shortcut, you know, he sends a lot of. He's been the most consistent actually.
Yeah.
Where he sends me a mix every week. He's sending me a mix.
Oh.
Right, and we're actually starting a show, Shortcut and myself. We're gonna do like a live Saturday afternoon show.
Sick.
But yeah, that's how Maximum got started. It was Mike Boogie who was the brainchild for that, and I just, you know, I get in where I can and help out where I can.
Yeah.
And like the idea and the big picture is for us to like gain the listenership, right? And then as soon as the frequency becomes available on the FM dial, get that application in.
Yeah.
And be like, hey, it's needed.
Yeah.
We have our listenership already. We got advertising money. You know, we got the support.
Much is taking this away from us.
Yeah, exactly. Much is taking it away. Flow's taking it away. And that's funny because back in the day, I was there signing petitions to get flow and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
Because before there was a frequency available, and Black community submitted an application for like an urban station.
Yeah.
And they awarded it to CBC. So and it's kind of ironic because I work for CBC.
Yeah.
Right. But now CBC had 2 radio stations, so Radio 1 and Radio 2, and then another frequency became available. So the same organization, you know, we petitioned and applied for it again, and they gave us Flow. Right? So Flow was great because it was like a black station or urban station.
Yeah.
And it did support Canadian music, right? And had great radio shows on it. And then, you know, it kind of started changing up the format, and then it was bought. And then Kiss 92 actually decided to change their format to urban music from like pop music because they saw that, oh shit, there's actually a market there.
Yeah.
So now they were competing with us. But the thing is with Kiss is like they're a corporation.
Yeah.
So they had stations all across the country, right? When we had one station, which was Flow.
Yeah.
So then Flow's kind of like, well, we got to do something about that. So then they started playing more pop music, and then all of a sudden Kiss. And I remember Farley said this to me and Carlito one day. We were at the Phoenix, because Carlito had a hit song out with Maestro called "Just Like Me."
Okay.
And Kiss 92 was loving that song. They charted it, and they were making us do concerts for them. And this is like across the country, not just in Toronto. So Carlito was doing like drops for them, like, yo, you're checking out Mastermind, because Mastermind used to work for Kiss.
Yeah.
Right? DJ X used to work. So the good thing about Flow is it took guys who did college radio and gave them a real job in real radio.
That's dope.
Right? So that's another example of if you do your thing long enough, eventually it's going to pay off. Right? So anyway, so long story short, we're at the Phoenix one day, and Farley, who was the program director at the time for Flow, he said to Carlito, he's like, yo, he goes, why are you doing all these drops and stuff for Kiss, man? Like, you should be supporting Flow. And Carlito's like, well, because they play my stuff, and they're asking for this.
Yeah.
And he's like, man, he goes, you got to remember, man, Kiss can change their format at any time and not give a fuck about you. But we're always going to be Flow, right? About a month later, Kiss changed their format and became Jack FM and started playing all old school, like, rock and
Really?
shit. Yeah.
I remember that when that happened.
Remember that?
Yeah.
So we were like, fuck. It was like right at 3 o'clock or something when Tarzan Dan was supposed to come on. All of a sudden, you're now listening to Jack FM. And they started playing all this music, right? So, I don't know. I guess I'm just... At the time, we were like, yo, fuck you, Farley. What do you know? Right? But it's true. And that's the thing with corporate-owned stations, is they can do what they want, and they'll just chase the money.
Yeah.
Right? And now Flow is owned corporately, and that's exactly what they're doing. Right? It's all about chasing the money and, you know...
Yeah.
And it's funny because now Kiss is back to playing like pop music and urban music. So it's just
They're
weird,
just
man.
chasing
Like,
that circle there.
exactly, that's what it is. They're trying to chase a circle, right? So with Maximum FM, we're trying to lead the circle.
Yeah.
You know, like we have our old school show, Down with the Kings.
Yeah.
Right? And it's funny now because FM radio has announced that they're going to start playing old school hip hop more than the top 40 hip hop. Right? And it's kind of like, we knew that already.
Yeah.
That's why we're doing it.
Exactly.
Right? So, you know, in shows like New Music Monday where we play new Canadian music exclusively.
Yeah.
I mean, we throw in some American music when we get it, right? But we try and, you know, we support our own and try and play Canadian music.
Yeah.
Why didn't Flow have a show like that? Right? Or why doesn't Kiss have a show like that?
It's an hour
Right?
out of your week.
Exactly.
It's
Right?
nothing.
Speaking of that, actually, how can people submit, and what's the standards that you like to upkeep for
The
submissions?
standard is good music, like, and original music.
Yeah.
So don't send me your lyrics over somebody else's beat.
Yeah.
Like whether it's like a beat that's already out there or just an internet beat that you downloaded.
Yeah.
Right? Because, you know, that's not a real representation. It's not real.
It's not really making music.
And you're not making any money off it. And that's the important thing. We're registered with SOCAN.
Yeah.
So we submit our playlist and you can make money off of that. So the easiest way to send us music is send it to playmee@maximumfm.ca. Right? And then we'll go through it and we'll get it on air.
For sure.
You know, we'll give it a spin on New Music Mondays and then throw it into rotation.
Yeah.
So it'll randomly come up in our random shows, or, you know, it'll be picked exclusively. Like Mike Boogie has a show, Canadian Crates, where it's like all Canadian music and he does interviews and everything.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's basically it. Play me at maximumfm.ca,
Hit it up.
and that's what's up. And just send good music, man.
Yeah.
Like,
Is
send
there
good
any
music.
tagging
that's the
subject
key.
lines that you prefer for submissions, or is that strictly for music?
No, but what I
submissions?
do prefer is that your songs, your actual song file, is labeled with the title of the song
The
and
artist.
the artist name,
And the producer.
right? Producer's a bonus,
Yeah.
right?
Bonus for the producer.
But
Yeah,
at the
artist
bare
name.
minimum, I need the artist name and the song title.
Yeah.
I can't tell you the number of songs that I get, and I
Just the
download the
number and the
file,
name?
and it's like 01, and maybe it'll have a title.
Or track.
That's
Right?
fucking
Then I gotta
amazing.
remember like what was the artist, or I gotta start making notes myself.
Or you gotta
And the thing
dig in your
is,
emails.
The reality is that people that are doing it, whether it's a label or a radio station, you want to make their job as easy as possible.
For sure. Make
Otherwise, they don't have time.
make
It's the
yourself
same with
accessible, for
when you
sure.
send your music to someone, right? It's got to be labeled,
Yeah.
right? Because I don't have. I'm not gonna search for it. I don't have time for that.
Exactly.
Because I got so many things going on.
Yeah.
Right. So the biggest thing for me is make sure that your file is labeled, and you do that as soon as you bounce the file.
Yeah.
Right? Like bounce the file in the studio, make sure it has your artist name and the song title. And same thing if you're sending multiple tracks and you send me a zip folder, make sure that zip folder is labeled with your name, right? Because I need to know whose tracks these are.
Yeah.
Right? So, you know, there's I won't lie, like there's a lot of tracks that haven't been played because it's not labeled properly.
I can
And I don't
relate
even-
on that, man.
Right? And I don't have time
Honestly.
to like search it.
I had a folder building up from the last few seasons of Breaking Records that was
Right.
all songs like that I planned on going back and checking, and my email got full before I could actually do that, so I had to delete my emails, and which point it was like,
Yeah.
well, these songs are getting
They just
deleted as
just
well.
get lost, man.
Like-
Because I mean, think about it logically, like,
I don't have 8 hours to sit here and match emails,
Exactly.
song titles, and
right? Look at how many artists are out there. Just go on Facebook. Everybody's a rapper. Everybody
Yeah.
wants to be a rapper.
For sure.
So if you take half of them and think half of these guys who want to be rappers are submitting music to the same place that I'm submitting it, how much music is that person getting, and how much time do they have to spend going through it?
exactly.
I don't have extra time to spend to search
Yeah.
and download something and like,
I mean, really, it should be common sense, right? You
Right? It should be.
want your name labeled on your product.
But it
Yeah.
honestly, you like,
Yeah, you wouldn't believe.
You
how
would
many
not
people-
believe the amount of people that don't. I actually have like preface emails, about 3 of them, for different issues I get with people that send songs, and that's the main one
Right.
that gets copy and pasted and emailed to people. Like, if you want your song to be considered for play, please
Right.
follow these
Yep.
requirements.
These simple
like,
requirements. And
'cause-
people wonder too, like, I know even like when I was coming up in the 90s and stuff, it's like, you would hear somebody, like another local artist music on the radio, and you might think, oh, that's whack. How did that get on the air? The reality is that they're handling their business.
They're
and they got
trying.
their shit together.
Yeah.
That's why, because again, label execs and record execs or radio people, they'll fuck with people that have their shit together.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be the greatest music, but you got your business together, you're making it easy for me, so I'm gonna put you on.
Yeah.
Right? Like you could use DMDS Direct to send out your music. The program director at the station is gonna look at that before they're gonna look at an email from Joe Blow, please play my song. Right? Because DMDS is an official distributor of music to radio.
Yeah.
Right? So every program director gets emails from that company. And it's legit. So they know that you've spent money to send your music.
Yeah.
So they're going to go through those songs and decide if it's going to add to the playlist. But if they just get an email from your Gmail account or your Yahoo account and shit's not labeled properly and you don't use the proper verbiage,
Yeah.
right?
It's like,
Then it's like delete, right?
Yeah.
Next. Right? Like I look over here and I see all these CDs stacked up, right? And what is the consistent thing you see? You see the spine of the CD with the names,
yeah.
right? That's because when people stack CDs, that's how they stack it. So they can see whose CD it is.
Exactly, right.
So if I'm sitting in an office and you send me an envelope with a CD in it, and if it doesn't have a hard case and the spine is labeled, 90% of the time, that's going right to the trash.
Yeah.
Because nobody's going to search for it.
Yeah.
And again, like I'm not trying to shit on people, I'm just trying to give good advice
Yeah.
from my experience, right? And even if you send me like a CD and it's got the spine and it's labeled, right? You have to make sure, even more importantly than having your jacket and everything,
Yeah.
is the actual CD needs to be labeled,
Yeah.
right? Because I may just pick up a CD, put it in, and listen to it, like, holy fuck, this is dope.
Yeah.
Then I eject it, and it's like, well, who the fuck is this person, and how do I contact them,
Yeah.
right? So name, contact info, that has to be on everything you send out, right?
Yeah.
You know, and it's not as easy to jack your material either. So,
Yeah. Very true.
Right? So that, that's what's up.
Vital information.